How do you detect change? Are you like the frog in the pot that's being slowly boiled? Or are you like the frog that's thrown into a pot of boiling water? It's not a very pleasant image. Sorry about that. Welcome back to Talking with Jazz with your host, BigDaddy0. We're talking change. We're relating it back to change. Because your life changes, the world changes, we change, we all change. Everything changes all the time. You just don't often notice it at one point in time. When we first tree changed, my wife tells a story of the day we arrived at the house we'd rented. The doors on the car opened up. We unbuckled the kids from their little car seats and they ran into the garden, and that's when the fun began. Now that's a very sort of romantic view of change. For me, the change happened slower when I actually noticed that things had changed and the tree change had occurred. It was a bit of a rude awakening, actually, but it was partly driven by the fact that I had to get our flat ready for rent. And it was a partially completed flat, not terribly well done by myself. So I had to paint it. My good friend Mark helped me. One of the most generous things he's ever done. He's done lots of generous things, so it was one of the really generous things. We finished it. We finished painting, and I'd spent every weekend in the city for the first month. So I'd never really experienced what it was like to wake up on a Saturday morning in the country. I had it all planned. Once the tenants were in, I would start living in the country and stop commuting as I was, with paintbrush in hand, halfway between Bunnings and a can of white paint. You know, it's mind-numbing stuff. Anyway, it got done, and it was February. The kids were about to start school, and there we were, living in the country. And it was Saturday morning, so I thought to myself, oh look, there's a local paper. I'm going to go and check that out. A cup of tea in hand. Local paper. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the Midland Express in retrospect, if I actually think about it. Anyway, first thing, front cover. There's a story. It's a story about a guy who heard somebody breaking into his garage in Kyneton. And he heard the noise, and by the time he got out of the house and near the garage, I'm guessing, someone had ridden off on his motorbike, which he had in the garage. It was probably a dirt bike, which didn't need a key or something like that. I don't know. Wasn't that important. Anyway, the reason this story was in the paper was because he'd been charged with some form of, crime, which was involved him getting into his car and chasing down the guy who had just stolen his motorbike and running the guy over. And to me, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Is this the country? Oh, this is just kind of not what I expected. But that was it. That was the day. My first day in the country. I realised at that point that my life had changed. Anyway, once I'd finished with the local paper, I went outside because I could hear a lawnmower. It was my neighbour. And so I said, hello, neighbour. Probably not as stupid as that, because I didn't want to create sort of like an impression that I was an idiot. And he stopped the ride-on mower, and he started on a sort of tirade about, I spend all week driving in and about the city, and then on the weekends all I have to do is mow and mow and mow. I just never get out behind the wheel. And I thought, whoa, country life. It's got some barbs. Somehow we survived. Why don't you have a great day? Thank you for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Did you know I make one of these for almost every day? I know, I sometimes miss a day or two. I've got to have a break sometime, right? And sometimes I get busy doing other things. But anyway, let's ignore that. If you don't want to miss one of these episodes, then you have to subscribe. It's free. It's fun and it's real. You just have to go to YouTube and you press subscribe. And you will be notified, if you like it or not, that another episode has been released. I try and let them go at 6:30 almost every day. So why don't you subscribe now? There's a link below in the description. Then you will have a great day.